Dear students, then today we will be talking about the spinal instrumentations. We have discussed something about the Hertz rectangle. As you know, there are other devices, as I mentioned earlier, that the Hennington rod, Lipis instrument, and Lipis instrumentation actually later on converted to Hertz rectangle. Hertz rectangle, as I said, can be fixed with both two techniques. One is sublaminar wiring, another is your tense your spinous technique. Tense minus my technique is more easy to do, but it is better than not very good than that of your sublaminar wiring. Sublaminar wiring is better from stability point of view, but you have to be very careful that you do not do injury to your cord or meninges, because you have to make a tunnel and pass the wire beneath the lamina. So you have to pass it like this, and while doing so you have to be very careful. You have to strip off this is the area. You have to strip off this your ligamentum flavum, make a tunnel, then you pass the wire that will necessarily hold the Hertz rectangle. Hertz rectangle Hertz rectangle better. But another technique, as I said, it is called trans spinous technique, where you pass Drummond wire from this side, Drummond wire from that side, lock it at the base of your spinous process, and that will go for your only the Hertz rectangle nice. These are the two techniques commonly used, and we must remember this is not an absolute technique. Still in use. Even surgeons like S.Y. Bhusra and other leading surgeons still are using the Hertz rectangle, getting good result. This is the Hertz rectangle, as I mentioned already. You have to stabilize like this, and the techniques, as I discussed already, can be done with Drummond wire pass from this side, Drummond wire pass from that side, locked it with the hole, and cut it, and you have to tie it along with the Hertz frame. Okay, and as I already mentioned that the Hertz can be given shape, just like your plate fixation while you contour the plate. Here you can also do the contouring of this Hertz to give this shape according to the need of this area. Suppose in thoracic area necessarily it is convex, so this is the thoracic kyphosis. But same thing if you are applying in case of your lumbar area where it is lordosis, so you have to bend like this. So you have to bend like this, or you have to bend like this. That bending and contouring is possible with this your Hertz rectangle, just like a plate fixation on a long bone. Yes. So that is about the Hertz rectangle, and I again request you, do you have anything to ask about this, and you can make your mind clear in this context, because as I said, this technique is not yet obsolete. This technique is still being used. This technique can be applied in a very easy way. One point, and number two is they do not need a sophisticated operation theater. Even without serum also one can do it. Without showing, this is one of the safe technique in the sense that you are not going near to any vital structures like the cord or the nerve root. Okay? So that is why it is one of the easy techniques, still in use, not that obsolete. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, I can clarify it. No, do not have. Then we can proceed to the pedicle screw fixation. So latest technique of pedicle screw fixation, as I have been already discussed. This is your pedicle screw. This is mono, and this is your poly. Poly in the sense that you have this axis, you have this liberty of putting it in different angle. But finally, while you lock with this rod here, then it will be a one unit. Yes. So during the introductions, if you do have, so you have a very, in mono you have a straight line. So that is your, supposing sometime your base is particularly in case of scoliosis or deformity corrections, it is not a good idea. So there your axis is a bit different. So you need to go for a pulley. So see here your rod should be absolutely like this. Rod will be like this, absolutely like this. But here in case of pulley, you can fix the rod here, but you can change the axis also like this. Yes, supposing if you are doing a correction where if your base is lying too much outside, okay, that can be used as a rod. Okay, fine. Too much outside, then rod will be far away from this base. Yes or no? So that will be not an easy thing to do. So you can mobilize it like this. But once you tightly in and outie, this is earlier and nowadays of course only one in is there. So that can give you the liberty of changing the axis. So that is the advantage. And mostly pulleys are mostly used in deformity corrections like scoliosis, kyphosis or something. Okay, fine. So deformity corrections, pulleys are mostly used, like the spondylolisthesis correction, or even in the scoliosis corrections, pulleys are commonly used. And simple trauma situations where axis is not deviated, probably disunited, because it is better in the sense that you do not have another joint over there. Less the joint, better is the stability. Okay, fine. So that is one point. Number two, you know this pulleys or mono. These are coming in different sizes. One is length, another is your breadth of the screw. So in case of your cervical spine area, here most of the time pulleys are used. But truly speaking, most of the surgeon in doing the instrumentation in the cervical spine, they prefer to go for lateral mass fixation. Lateral mass fixation is a simpler technique than that of your pedicle screw fixation, where pedicle is a area bone which is lying in between two important structures like vertebral artery and the inner side your core. So you have a very narrow zone of your working. So if you are deviating too much from one medially or laterally, it may invariably lead to an injury to the metastructures. One point. Number two is that the cervical spine as such can be easily addressed with the easier technique of your lateral mass fixation. But it is true, the construct is not as strong as that of your pedicle screw fixation. Got my point? But even then it is accepted. Why? The truth is that the cervical spine does not need to bear a heavy weight. So if you go down below, you will find the design of the vertebra itself speaks about the load it bearing. See, cervical spine as such, the vertebra is very small. Yes or no? Because you need to take the weight of the head and the upper part. Got my point? If you don't go below, then the body weight is maximum transmitted by the spinal column. Yes or no? That is why, see, if you are gradually see the vertebra size is increasing, and necessarily the L5 vertebra and lumbosacral junction is the most important area which is bearing maximum weight. That is why the size is big. Got my point? So necessarily here the load bearing is much more than what is there in the cervical spine. Then this is implies from the size of the vertebra also. So necessarily the fixation which you are going to give here needs to be maximum strength of your device. So you must select a device which is so strong that it can withstand this load. And necessarily here in the cervical spine you can to some extent compromise it. In the sense that the lateral mass fixation, though it is not a very strong device, can give a good result also, because it doesn't need to be a maximum weight of the body. Okay? So that is why in this area, cervical spine, though people are trying to do pedicle screw fixations, but equally lateral mass fixation also gives equal result. That part is okay. Then in the thoracic area, yes, thoracic area, the one thing you have to know in the thoracic area. Thoracic area, one thing you supposed to understand, important thing, the pedicle shape of the pedicle and the direction. This is very important. The shape of the pedicle and the directions are very important to us. The direction of the cervical spine is going upwards, right? And the lateral mass, as you know, the plate is over each other at around 30 degrees, so direction is like this. And as such, in the cervical spine also pedicle is oblique. But this obliquity is becoming reverse if you are going down below. Very carefully look at this position of the pedicle in thoracic level. See what is happening? In the thoracic area, the pedicle direction is going downwards. Yes or no? Yes, it is, and it is mostly in the upper part of the body. See, if you look at it very carefully, what I am talking. See, what is more interesting to understand, that this is the pedicle here. This is the pedicle here. And if you look at the pedicle of the cervical spine, what is direction? Direction is somehow oblique and with caudal. So your obliquity is towards the caudal area. See, now this shape is and also number 1 point. Number 2 point is the pedicle is mostly attached to the upper part of the body. But if you look at this pedicle attachment down below, go downward, you will find in the lumbar area is becoming almost perpendicular. In the lumbar area, see, this is the lumbar vertebra. See, the pedicle is almost here. See, this is the pedicle here. It is attached, and it is almost perpendicular to the body. But whereas in the thoracic level, if you look at the thoracic vertebra, you will find there is obliquity of the attachment. This is also important. So grossly you must have some anatomical idea. So necessarily, while you pass your screw in the thoracic level through the pedicle, necessary direction will be towards the caudal side. But same thing if you are doing in the lumbar area, you will find it is almost perpendicular to each other. These are the important things. Number 2 is, see, number 2 point in the, I am just talking about the pedicle of the thoracic. See the pedicle, see attachment of the pedicle towards the body is converging towards the midline. See, this is midline. So it is somehow angulated. Yes, somehow a bit angulated. But if you go with the vertebra of the thoracic level, you will find it is almost perpendicular. These are the gross things you must remember. So necessarily our idea of passing the pedicle screw is through the pedicle. And you must have a good idea, must have visualized that the directions of the pedicle attached to the body. What I have said is a gross anatomy. What is the shape and attachment of the pedicle? This gross anatomy should be in your mind while you are doing these operations. That in the cervical and the cervical spine, what is the direction? And what is the directions in the thoracic spine? The thoracic spine, the pedicle is almost like this, whereas in the your lumbar area, this is somehow converging. So necessarily here, while you are going for the screw fixation, it is almost perpendicular to the body. Yes, got my point? Okay, and in the lumbar area, what is happening? See, you have to go a bit converging. How much converging? Grossly speaking, this convergence is around 5 degrees in L1, 10 degrees at L2, so necessarily around 20 degrees at the L5. So 5 degree means angular towards the means. So this is perpendicular, L1 it is 5 degree, L2 10 degree, L3 15 degree, like this, 5 degree, 8, 5 degree. 5 degree towards the converging. Grossly, that means it is your direction is unlike in your thoracic level, it is almost perpendicular, it should be converging. Understood? Okay? So these two gauge important thing are the thoracic and the thoracic. Now in the thoracic level, see the body pedicule is angulated towards the body, not like this. Here it is like this, but in the thoracic it is obliquely towards the posterior, towards the caudal side. So these are the gauge things you have to remember. Okay, fine. Now question arises that how to find out the entry point. We are more concerned about the lumbar area. Let us talk about the lumbar area first. How to find out the entry point of this area. So we will talk here also, that supposing this is the patient who is in the prone position under anesthesia. Now you have to do the surgery for a spinal instrumentation to be pedicle screw fixation. Necessarily you have made a midline incision, stripping of the muscles. Stripping of the muscles up to what level? Up to what level? Up to what level? Laterally? Huh? Lamina. Lamina is limiting here only. Your pedicule is somewhere lateral. So only lamina is enough. Yes, ma'am. Up to what level you are going to do this exposure? In case of pedicle screw fixation, in case of pedicle screw fixation, it should be much lateral. Why? It should be much lateral. It should be much lateral. Why? Particularly for the beginners, it is mandatory to expose the transverse process. Why it is important? For the beginners, for the early beginners who are doing early part of this career, always should do the dissections up to the transverse process. Up to transverse process. Why it is important? I will tell you why. And do not try to damage the capsule of the joint. So you do dissection. Dissection should be always subperiosteal, not through the muscle, so as to minimize the bleeding. So do the subperiosteal, but do not try to damage the capsule. And your dissections always while doing with cautery should always have the feeling working on a hard surface, means on the bone. Once you are getting a soft tissue, you have to be very careful. As dissecting on the bone is more easy. So if your tip of the cautery is touching something soft, be careful, because in soft you may be in the ligamentum flavum, or you may be far away from here. So these are not a good structure. You have to be careful. So while doing the dissections with the cautery, you must have feeling of the hard surface. So hard surface feeling is do the subperiosteal dissections, do it far lateral, try to expose the transverse process. This transverse process is important particularly for the beginner for doing the pedicle screw fixation. So now doing the dissection, everything is over. Now we are going to do the screw fixation. First thing that you need to expose the transverse process. Find out the inferior border and find out the superior border. Make it clean. May not go up to the tip. Okay? Same thing. Here also, if you are doing dissection, go to the transverse process. Do dissection of the upper border. Do dissection of the inferior border. Find out the breadth of the transverse process. Okay? Now, find out the midpoint between the upper part and the upper border and the inferior border. Yes? What is my point? So this is the midpoint we are giving. So this is very important. How to find out the entry point? So what I am doing, that this dissection is being done inferiorly. This section is being done in superiorly. Find out the border of this in superior border and inferior border transverse process. Now give a mark with your cautery in the midline of the mid. So dissecting by dissecting. So this is a transverse process. What I am trying to do here is that I am doing the dissections to find out the superior or inferior border. It is like this. Vertebra is like this. Yeah, okay, fine. So this is vertebra like this. So I am doing the dissection of before. Then this is the midline, midpoint of the transverse process. One. Another line you draw from the lateral border of the superior articular surface. This. Here, see, you are drawing another line through the lateral border of the superior. This is the superior articular surface process of this vertebra. So you are drawing another line, just lateral border of the superior articular surface. So this is the transaction. This is joint where it is. So this is the area. See, the transverse process like this, border is like this. The intersecting point is the point of entry. This intersecting point. Make it clear again. Then your dissection in case of your pedicle screw fixation should to be far lateral. Try to identify the transverse process. Do separations of the transverse process from the attachment in the superior and inferior border. Now give a mark in the middle of the transverse process. Draw the line towards the midline. You are drawing the line. And in operation, one can give the line with the help of the cautery. Okay. Now try to find out the lateral border of the superior articular surface. Draw a line above like this. The point which is intersecting each other is the point of entry. Yes, this part is clear. Okay. Once you are getting this point of entry, what next thing you are going to do? You are going to decorticate, means your that articular surface, that cortical one should be evacuated. This is called starter. We do not have a starter here. Even then, you have to break this part for the entry. The entry onto the pedicle is just soft because pedicle is surrounded by cortical bone, but inside it is all spongy bone. Got my point? So this is surrounded by the all cortical bone. The inside it is very easy to go because this is all spongy. So it is important to decorticate, and this is called starter. Most of the time you will find a knob like this is structure like this. There is a knob here. So initially one can hammer it also, or you can break it, or you can take a diamond awel also to start the beginning of this entry point. Once is entry point, another instrument known as your pedicle finder. Pedicle finder do not have here. That is your device which is angulated laterally. You can enter it. So two concepts. There are many concepts people are doing. One is called gear shift technique. Gear shift technique. Gear shift technique means your, as I said, this pedicle finder which is a bit curved like this. Initially you take the concavity towards the outer side. Got my point? So you are starting this beginning here, going in, and as I said, pedicle finder is a bit curved. Take the concave surface towards the outer side, convex inner side in the beginning. Go, then you shift this thing towards the reverse thing. That means concavity inward, convexity outward. So go in. So this is called pedicle finder. This is a freehand technique. This goes very easily because you are going through the cancellous bone. You do not need to do drilling or anything else because all these things are very cancellous, very soft. So that will go easily. Once it is going, this entry point is clear to everyone? Entry point is clear to everyone? Yes or no? This is the entry point. We are entering here with a pedicule starter. Make decortications of this area. Go in. Further in is done with the help of a pedicule finder, which is curve 1, concavity towards the outer side, convexity inner side initially. Go, then you reverse it. So you will go to the body. So that is one. So that is okay, done. Up to what extent one should go? Very important thing. Then what should be ideal length of a screw? So ideal length of the screw should to be up to 1/3 of the body. Distal 1/3 should not cross. This part, this should be like this, up to this. It is important. See, so if you are passing a screw like this, and if you are going beyond this, your anterior border, since it is a curved one, so in the X-ray lateral view, you will find that the body is inside the body, right? But actually you are not, you are out. Why so? But this is a curved one. Very important thing here also, that we should not cross this area. This is a very, this is the limit, and you may extend up to this. There is no point going bicortical fixations in this pedicule screw. No point going forward because it is very strong. This is enough. But what is more important technically also, if you are going beyond this, see, my screw has penetrated out. But since you are taking a view from lateral side and this bone is still there, it will overlap it and you have give a false impression that the screw is inside. Are you getting my point? This is almost like this. This is situation like this. Okay? Got my point? The screw is like this. This is pedicule, so the screw is passed like this. So it is just crossing out. Okay? It is crossing out. But if you take a X-ray from lateral side, C-arm, see the bone is still there anteriorly, it will give you impression that this your screw tip is lying inside the bone. Got my point? Because it is overlapping. But in true sense, your screw is lying outside. And this outside screw is very dangerous because you have very important structure lying there. The vessels are here. Aorta, your vena cava is lying here. So better to limit yourself up to the 2/3, not go beyond 2/3. And there is no point going for the bicortical fixation also. So this is your shape. What is length? So once you make the hole also, I have made the hole. The next important step is to go for the sound. This is called sound. The sound, this is not exactly sound. Sound is a ball tip here, ball tip here, and you have to pass the sound inside this hole you have made, and you must have a feeling. What feeling? A giddy feeling. What is stripping like this? I am stripping like this. So in superiorly you must have a feeling of bone. Inferiorly also you must have a feeling of bone. Laterally also you have must feeling of bone. Medially also you have feeling of bone, and tip also must have feeling of bone. So in other words, 5 bony surfaces should have feeling. This feeling is gritty feeling. It is always important to put a sound. This is called sound, pedicule sound. Pedicule sound with a ball tip here. Ball is here. So you feel the superior, inferior, medial and lateral surface, and also the tip. So you must have a feeling of bony feeling everywhere. If you have a soft tissue feeling, that is something is wrong somewhere. That you are not in the right track. So that is the important thing. Always must have a feeling of bone. and then I have already discussed about the length. So that ball tube, your sound will help you to take the measurement also, up to what extent one should go. That measurement you can take and take a artery forceps to hold this, and you can take the measurement of the screw. So that is the size of the threaded part go inside. So your limitation, you do not go up beyond the upper anterior 1/3. Your limitation is posterior 2/3. Do not go violate it, because you may endanger yourself. And the size of the screw selections, what is length, we have discussed. The size of the screw necessarily depends upon the size of the vertebra also. So that is why many times it is important to go for the CT scan and cross-sectional view of the pedicle. That will give you idea. Somebody's screw maybe sometime hypoplastic, somebody may have bigger one. So that will depend. So the size is a 4, 5, 5.5, 6, 7, like this diameter. So selection of the maximum, better is the maximum diameter, but that should not cross the violate this cortex. So you must have a bigger one, but not necessarily that you will violate the cortex. So you have a limitations. But ideally, how much you can have, you can preoperatively have some idea about the cross-sectional view of the pedicle, to have an idea of what size of the screw is going to accommodate. And sometimes congenital abnormalities may be there, where you have to select the screw on the size of your cross-sectional shape of the pedicle. Okay? So that is the two things. One is length, and as the size of the screw I have discussed. Up to what extent is supposed to go, we have already discussed. So that is one point. Number 2 is that you again let us talk something about the something of the sacrum also. Sacrum part. So sacrum screw is very different. So as I said, in the lumbar area you have to go up to the Tenbras process for dissection. But if you are going to pass the sacral screw here, it's supposed to go downwards. You see, while you are taking the patient in the prone position, what is the shape of the screw? What is the direction of the pedicle in the body of the sacrum? It is going caudally. One, and is also converging. So it is caudally and converging. Now, while talking about the screw passing in the thoracic lumbar area, what should be direction of the screw? That point I have not mentioned. No? So one thing I have already discussed in the lumbar area, that direction is almost perpendicular to the body of the vertebra, and is a bit converging, and conversion towards the midline from the L1 to L5 with 5 degree, 5 degree, 5 degree. So that is the direction. Yes, that is one. But sometimes it may be necessary to go for a lateral view CM image to determine the direction, whether you are going upward and downward. Yes, so that can be determined with the help of your lateral view. That is one. Okay? So in the sacrum area, then again, how to go find out the sacrum area? Sacrum area, you have to dissect this part inferior. So this is the L5. This is your articular surface from the sacrum. So find out the joint over there between the L5 and S1. This area dissection is very important. Go up to S1 body, S1 foramen. So S1 foramen, upper part to be dissected. There is a smooth surface to be dissected out. Now you take the midpoint from the upper hemisphere, or you can say this is your hole. So this part is hemisphere. So take the midpoint of the S1 foramen. Go it perpendicularly to the base of the articular surface. And the area where it is junction, so you take the entry point here. So entry point in the S1 is a bit different from the other. You go S1, dissect it out, find out the midpoint, go upward, go to the base of this your diatrial joint, facet joint, This is the midpoint. Here, this is the point where you are going to enter. Now, direction, how is going in? See, the caudal, it have to be caudal. One, and you have to a bit converging towards midline. So the direction will be downwards, as you see the body which is going now caudally, and also you have to go a bit anteriorly around 30 degree. So it downwards and medial. It is downwards one and now medial. But here in the sacrum, the important point in sacrum is that that you have to have a bicortical fixation here. I am stressing this point here in the sacrum is that unlike your thoracic and lumbar area, in case of sacrum, your fixation should to be bicortical, sacral promontory. So here, see, this is the point again I am stressing here. So while the patient is in the prone position, so this is S1 foramen, you have to dissect this part out. This is your base of your facet joint. You have to dissect it out and go upward to find out the base. This is a plateau or smooth area sort of thing, smooth area. Take the midline of the midpoint of this upper hemisphere, go upward. Take the midpoint of this upper hemisphere. This is your hemisphere. This is midpoint. Go upward and to the base of this joint. This is the point where you have to enter. So your entry point is here. Now what is the direction? See, in this position, the direction is always like this, oblique. So your caudally it is directing, one. And number two, that you have to go 30 degree medially. So you have to, your direction should be like this so as to pass out the screw like this in the sacral promontory. It is a big screw, it is a longest screw. Big and longest screw. So in sacrum, the selection of this screw is the biggest one, biggest and longest screw. Longest screw so as to give a good very fixation. In lumbar, the size of the screw and other things determined according to the need, and do not go up to 1/3 into 1/3.